Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door. And a happy new year, for God's sake. Late night, anyone? Look at the state of my hair. Unbelievable. Happy new year to every single person watching, every single person watching on delay, every single subscriber, every person who's ever watched and who's going to watch in the future. All of that good stuff. Before we go any further, please hit like on this stream and help us bring some more people across and hopefully enjoy the predictions and the chat and all of that good stuff. We are going to go through this weekend. Yeah, it's still a weekend, but I suspect next week I'll know what day it is when we're doing this. But yeah, we've got games now, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yes, and then we are done. And then it's the FA Cup, but I'm sure we're going to start to get postponed games dotted in. There's already been a few sort of announced there. So we'll try our absolute best to keep up. Now, there is some bad news. And the bad news is that the Football 365 predictor is down. And I've had a chat with them. They're trying their best to get it working. However, given how close we are to 3 p.m., if it's not up in the next hour or so, I suspect the solution is going to be that the whole round goes, because it wouldn't be fair to have some games predicted and some games not. So I thank you for your cooperation, your patience, and your good nature about such things. Obviously, I'm just a mere cog in the machine there and have no idea how to fix that or what all the bods are doing there. We did report it yesterday when you let us know, but we may be a week off the Football 365 predictor. So again, my apologies for that. I'm apologising on behalf of Football 365, and we thank you for your understanding and your patience about such things. Right. With that being said, we are partnered by Betfair and Football 365 on this, but I think it's just going to be a case of we'll check in with Betfair for each of the predictions, and I'm not going to click one button and it's all going to be done for me. Put it that way. There we go. Right, let's say some hellos. Eugene, Annie, John, Andy, Wayne, Chris, AFC Bournemouth, Germany, Cole. Thank you, everybody. Please do hit that like button and bring other people to the stream. We've got to say a big thank you as well to the Donovans, who are our fan sponsor over on Patreon. They sponsor in memory of Dad Dennis and our brother Mike, both sorely missed cheering on Millwall from above. Thank you to the Donovan boys. Second season. No second season syndrome for them. Second season sponsoring the preview show. So we thank them greatly for their support. You know how this works. We go through every game. Okay, we've got postponements. Of course we have. And we try and make a prediction as to what is going to happen. So far, touch wood, only 2 postponements. Coventry, no, there's 3, isn't there? That hasn't been updated on there. 3 postponements: Coventry, Luton, Swansea, Fulham, and of course, we knew it was going to go, didn't we? Middlesbrough and Sheffield United, which annoyingly was going to be our watch along. It was going to kick off in about 25 minutes' time, but there we go. It's given us a chance to catch up with the predictions, hasn't it? So let's go in first with Bournemouth versus Peterborough, guys. Get your predictions in, please. Bournemouth, draw, Peterborough. Bournemouth, draw, or Peterborough. Looks a fairly simplistic one if we only look at the league table. And hey, on this one, we might only need to look at the league table. Bournemouth are top and 4 points clear. They've bounced back from the recent poor run, back-to-back wins. And this at a time when Fulham also had a bad run and then have had postponements as well. So Bournemouth looking really good once again, 49 points from 25 games, 1 off, 2 points per game, which I love. It's going to get you promoted, that, you know it is. Peterborough, they've also had postponements. They're 2 games behind, and they are, of course, in that bottom 3 with Darby starting to lift everything up right from the bottom. Let me know your thoughts, please. Predictions. Bournemouth draw or Peterborough. Bournemouth draw or Peterborough. Remember, my apologies on behalf of the Football 365 predictor game. It's not working currently. We'll do an announcement if they get it going before 3 p.m. But if it's not close, we won't, punish you for it not working. Put it that way. Let me just do the tail of the tape before I get your comments. Obviously, in the table, Bournemouth by 21. Form table, Bournemouth by 7, but that is a trend up for Bournemouth as well, which we think might extend out. Homes and aways, Bournemouth by 18. XG, Bournemouth by 17. And as you'd imagine, Bournemouth in the top 6 for most goals scored and fewest goals conceded. Peterborough in the bottom 6 for most goals conceded and fewest goals scored. It doesn't stack up very well for the posh, doesn't it? Woof. Let's dive in here. Thank you for all your Happy New Years. I can see lots of them coming through. Let's go to the predictions now. Andy's gone for Bournemouth. So has Spock. So has Anis. So has Mark. So has John. You're a clean sweep here, aren't you? Absolute home back. There's one joker in there for a draw. Get on that, for God's sakes. Bournemouth. Everyone forgetting we drew with Posh 0-0. Not guaranteed an easy win. No one forgets anything, Callum, on this channel. No one forgets anything. Believe you me, and I'm picked up on all of it. Mr. Teague's gone for the cherries. Look, it's a fairly straightforward one, this. So, look, it would be a big surprise, wouldn't it? I'm still going to go home. And we're not heading over to the predictor. We will head over to betfair.com. Our partners here, obviously, please gamble responsibly. Let's make that a bit bigger. I am going for a 2-0 win for Bournemouth, which you can see you're only going to get a 5-1 shot on that. If that's your weekend tipple, please gamble responsibly. 5-1. I've gone for Bournemouth 2, Peterborough 0. Let's move on and talk to me about two of the form teams in the division, Blackburn and Huddersfield. It's Blackburn versus Huddersfield. Get your predictions in, please. Blackburn, draw. Huddersfield, Blackburn, draw. Huddersfield. Once you put your prediction in, hit the like button as well. Keep that stream moving. Keep the comments coming. But predictions most important. Blackburn, draw, or Huddersfield. Blackburn, draw, or Huddersfield. As I say, two of the form teams in the division. Remember, Fulham are not playing, so Blackburn could go into second place, which seems absolutely unfathomable. When that 7-0 win was happening, but go back 2 games before that, there'd been an even bigger gap, I would have thought. The fact that Blackburn would be anywhere near Fulham, but hey, it is what it is. Blackburn have had an incredible run. Fulham have not had a good run, and Blackburn have played more games. Fulham have had postponements, etc. So it's 6 straight wins for Blackburn, 9 wins in 12 games. So this is now over a sample size, this ridiculous run of over a quarter of a season, 12 games. As we go up to 13, 14, what's a third of 46? That sort of 15, 16 game marks. It starts to go from a quarter of a season to a third of a season. And then we start to get that situation that we had with Norwich in 18-19, where they start winning and everyone goes, oh, that'll drop off. And they keep winning and they keep winning and then we're like, oh, okay, they're not going to stop winning. I wonder if that would happen with Blackburn. I wonder. Will it happen with Huddersfield as well? 3 straight wins for Huddersfield. And Huddersfield fans get cross with me because I always bring up the mitigating factors. We did get 2 3-2 wins, 10 men in one of them, wasn't there? No, maybe I'm wrong about that. Sorry, Huddersfield fans. And then a 1-0 at Forest. They're doing it, aren't they? They are punching and punching. They're in 6th. They're doing superbly. Huddersfield. Get your predictions in, please, guys. Blackburn draw, Huddersfield. Blackburn draw, Huddersfield. Tail of the tape is quite tight. Blackburn in the league by 3. Blackburn in the form table by 4. However, Huddersfield are 5th in the form table. So, in the words of Mick McCarthy, they're no mugs. 8-game homes and aways. Blackburn by 11. So, Blackburn are the best home team over the last 8 games in the league, and Huddersfield are sort of halfway up in terms of away form. XG, Blackburn only by 2. I don't know what the reasoning for the Blackburn. Go on, I'll give you a theory. I think maybe it's that they concede a lot of chances in terms of their XG. Blackburn actually overperforming their XG. Yeah. So look, they're overperforming it in both ways. They score more than they should, and they concede less than they should, according to the chance quality. Huddersfield pretty much bang on. There's 2 places behind. Both teams love a goal as well. Both teams in the top 6 for most goals scored. Get your predictions in. Blackburn draw Huddersfield. Blackburn draw Huddersfield. Let's go to those predictions. And of course, please hit that like button. Where should we start here? Let's start with Eugene. Blackburn. It's going to be another clean sweep, is it? Huddersfield. Blackburn draw. Terriers, for some reason, there we go, Blackburn. So most of you are on the Blackburn train. It's a difficult opponent in terms of Huddersfield, but I don't know. I see the Blackburn overperformance as more viable than the Huddersfield overperformance, if that makes any kind of sense. So I am going to go with the Rovers, and I'm going to hit the home button. And on the basis that they're both in the top 6 for goals scored, I'm going to go for a bit of a goal-heavy one. Now, we're not on the Football 365 predictor again. Thank you for your understanding and your patience about that. So over on betfair.com, I am going to go for 3-1 to Blackburn. So I'm just going to have to click show more scorelines here. And can you see it there? I don't know if it's lighting up. 3-1, 12-1. So our friends at betfair.com don't think that's too likely, but I am going for it. Blackburn 3, Huddersfield 1, which would put Blackburn in second place, with Fulham coming back to action, presumably in the FA Cup and then thereafter. Right, let's move on. And it is West Brom versus Cardiff. West Brom in 4th and Cardiff down in 20th. Get your predictions in, please, guys. West Brom draw or Cardiff? West Brom draw or Cardiff? West Brom have the air of a team that's in 4th, but not quite, looking smooth and functioning perfectly as they would want to, which, I mean, if your glass is half full, then they start functioning fully, and there's only a few places to go up from there. If your glass is half empty, then that continues, and you know where it ends up. So we'll see how it goes with West Brom. Bit goal shy as well, and certainly feels like they need some kind of goal scoring help in the January transfer window. Cardiff are back. They're still in a battle down there. 22 points for Cardiff. They're a couple of games behind, but Reading are more games in hand. But we talk about Reading because they've got a really big game coming up, haven't they? So 1 point in the last 3, only 1 win in the last 5 for Cardiff. So it's still a struggle for Steve Morrison down there. Is there anything they can do in the transfer window? That becomes the question. Get your predictions in. Baggies draw or Bluebirds. Tail of the tape. In the table, West Brom by 16. In the form table, West Brom only by 2. In the homes and aways, West Brom by 15. In the XG, West Brom by 13. And tellingly, we're looking at goals conceded here. West Brom in the top 6 for fewest goals conceded. Cardiff in the bottom 6 in terms of most goals conceded. So does that mitigate the goal-shy West Brom attack? You tell me. Let's have a look and see what you guys are saying here. Where should we dive in? Let's start with Mark there. Baggies. There's a joker on Cardiff. Baggies. Kiefer Moore would be a good signing for Baggies, wouldn't he, Jess? I totally agree with that. Wouldn't be surprised if Cardiff get a point. Callum, you've gone for the upset in literally all of the games here. Bournemouth fan, yeah? Interesting. Very, very interesting. Please leave your bias at the door as ever in your predictions. I am going to go for a tight. Let me just click another couple there. I'm going to go for a tight home. A tight home win in the West Brom Cardiff game. For some reason, and I've got nothing other than a hunch for you here, I do fancy Cardiff to score in this one. I think it could get a little bit aerially. Is that a word? Aerially? this game. It probably is a word, but I'm just using it in the wrong context. So I'm going to go for a 2-1, which you get 13-2 at betfair.com on that. Please gamble responsibly, 18 plus only. BeGambleAware.org. Again, thank you to betfair.com and football365.com. Again, apologies and thank you for your patience and understanding. The Football 365 predictor is down. It is not working. Right, Sheffield United, Middlesbrough. And I promise you, I done all my homework on that one. There it is. And then it got cancelled, which we thought it would be. So tons of COVID Omicron cases in the Borough camp. Chris Wilder, grumpy press conference. It then got cancelled into the evening. I guess it was just untenable in the end. So we'll move on from that one. Birmingham versus QPR is our next game. Birmingham versus QPR. Get your predictions in. Blues draw QPR. Birmingham draw QPR. Rangers late win at Bristol City. They needed that, didn't they? Because with the games in hand and Middlesbrough and Huddersfield's form, could have been a little gap. And a lot of you have been commenting to me saying, well, Ben, I'd rather have the points on the board than a crazy fixture list, even at a slightly lower rate than we think the average is. So, we'll see how that pans out. QPR, we talk about it every game. This, I promise you, last game with the AFCON players for QPR. So we do think Chair, Kake and Iain will be there according to what we have heard. Birmingham, they are 2 games behind. They're not in good form, are they? But they haven't played since December the 18th, to be fair. So hopefully they've been able to do some kind of reset or some kind of work. We just don't know, do we? A lot of guesswork around this. Get your predictions in. Birmingham draw, QPR, Birmingham draw or QPR. Tail of the tape is QPR in the table by 10, QPR in the form table by 17, QPR in the homes and aways by 11, XG, Birmingham by 2. Let me try and give you an explanation as to why Birmingham are underperforming their XG quite so badly. What are we saying? Oh, their finishing's terrible. Birmingham have an XG of 30, nearly 31, and have only scored 22 times. So you can see the issue is very clear in terms of that underperformance there. We think their finishing doesn't match their chance quality at Birmingham. Interestingly, on goals, we always look at goals. Birmingham in the bottom 6 for fewest goals scored. I've just explained that, hopefully. QPR in the top 6 for most goals scored. Get your predictions in, please. Birmingham draw, QPR. Birmingham draw or QPR. Where shall we dive in? God, Callum, you love to see it. Where we dive in here? Mark, I think, is our first one there. Rangers, draw. Rangers, draw. Lots on the draw here. Rangers. Anyone for Blues? Rangers. John's good on Birmingham as well, and he's going against them as well. Blues, draw. Isn't Chair injured? Possibly, yeah. Last game, yeah. Archer going in goal for a while, absolutely. Depends. We're looking forward to Archer coming back, aren't we? Always popular on the channel here. Joker on Blues, 2-0. Rangers. Interesting. I see this a little bit differently than you guys. I just think whether Birmingham are in form or not, it was awkward to play against, aren't they? So I'm going to go down the middle on this. I think QPR have had a hard week, haven't they? And have been off to Bristol City and all of that. So I'm going to land right down the middle on a draw. I think this one will end on as even. I think maybe QPR might take the lead, possibly, and it'll end in a draw over on Betfair. Have I got that up on the screen? I haven't. There we go. Have a look over there. A 1-1 draw in the middle is 9-2. So I'm going to go 1-1. Birmingham and QPR to draw this one. 1-1. Head over to betfair.com if you want your little weekend tipple to be Birmingham 1, QPR 1. What was it? I've already forgotten the damn price. 9-2. My apologies. Fairly short on that one. So, yes, please gamble responsibly as ever. Right, how many to go, you lot? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to go. Happy New Year, by the way. If you're just joining us, Happy New Year. Welcome to the first stream of 2022. God, I'm old. And please hit that like button just to give this stream a push. Stoke versus Preston, everybody. Predictions, please. Stoke, draw, or Preston. Stoke, draw, or Preston. Get your predictions in. Stoke went under to Darby in midweek, but from what I've heard, Darby were quite good value. No sense of a smash and grab there. Stoke created, I think it's 0.27 on the old XG there. So it just didn't create anything. Did they? Preston. Now, let me get this right. Someone will correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. Please do. I think Ryan Lowe's had one game and they won, didn't they? They beat Barnsley. Must have been there 3.5, 4 weeks now. Feels like the start of December, doesn't it? So, yeah, God knows what to expect for Preston. So good luck with your prediction. Stoke, draw, Preston. Stoke, draw, Preston. Tail of the tape. Stoke in the table by 7. In the form table, Stoke by 1. 9th and 10th. Very close. Very, very close. In the homes and aways, Preston by 1. 17th and 16th, not much in it. In the XG, Stoke by 7. Neither of them are too far off. In fact, they're both overperforming their XG by 2 places. In terms of goals, Preston don't score many. Bottom 6 for fewest goals scored. Stoke don't concede many. I think you can see where I'm going with this. Shall I just press this button before we get before we go any further? But get your predictions in nonetheless. Stoke, draw, Preston. Stoke, draw, Preston. So you just see their faces. Look at them. Look at them. Just gazing into each other's eyes longingly. I wonder if they were together at midnight as the fireworks went off. Right. Where is our predictions here? Let's start here. Draw, Stoke. Score draw, Stoke. Happy New Year, Steve. Draw. God, who's at home? Sorry. Stoke. Stoke, 0-0. Draw. Preston. Stoke. Preston. Draw. Preston will suffer the rust that Stoke had the other night. I'm going for a Desmond here, a 2-2 there. I think I've already nailed my colours to the mast here. I've been looking for an excuse to play my 0-0. Draw. Out they come. I'm doing it. 0-0 I'll go for in this one. I always play one. There was one a few weeks ago where I didn't play one, which is disgraceful. Me breaking my own rules. But hey, what are you going to do? So over on betfair.com, again, apologies, the Football 365 predictor is down and will hopefully, well, definitely, if it's not back for blooming Saturday the 15th that weekend, then I don't know what we're doing. But 0-0, 13-2. 13-2 for a 0-0 over at betfair.com. Please gamble responsibly. Right. Let's move on. Nottingham Forest versus Barnsley. Forest, draw, Barnsley. Forest, draw, or Barnsley. Get involved. I like Barnsley. I like Barnsley fans, but you have to start every Barnsley conversation with how bad they are and how bad they've been and how few points they've got. And I think people get a little bit, and I do too. You look at the table and you see Darby there, and look, it is what it is. Darby are bottom, and you know, off pitch goes to on pitch. But Barnsley would be, if Darby hadn't had their deduction, they would be 8 points adrift. They would be abject bottom with 14 from 24. So I think sometimes that points deduction underneath them kind of stops us realising how poor Barnsley have been. It's been a massive drop-off. Speaking of drop-off, Forest have lost their last 2. That magnificent run under Steve Cooper. Some of you would call it a new manager bounce. I would roll my eyes at that, but 2 defeats in a run. They haven't scored in either of those games, and we've been impressed with Zinkernagel and Johnson and Graben. If anyone watched my video about Championship strikers, Graben needs the fewest shots per goal of any of his regular goal-scoring contemporaries up the top there. So, yeah, Forest will look at this as a bounce back. Barnsley will look at it as, oh, God, they've lost 2. Can we get something? Can we get something? Get your predictions in, guys. Forest draw or Barnsley, Forest draw or Barnsley. I'll do the numbers, but obviously Barnsley's numbers are horrifically bad, aren't they? So Forest in the table by 14. Forest in the form table by 13. Forest in the homes and aways by 12. All double figures, guys. Forest in the XG by 12. And in terms of goals, obviously, as you can imagine, Barnsley are in the bottom 6 for fewest scored and most conceded. Forest are in the top 6. This flies in the face of what I just said. They haven't scored for the last 2 games, but they're in the top 6 for most goals scored as well. Doesn't stack up well. Steve Cooper will look at this as a bounce back opportunity. What do you think? Predictions, please. And I'm going to go to them right now. Forest draw, Barnsley. Forest draw or a Barnsley. Let's have a looky. Where are we going to start here? Chris, I think. Are you first, Chris? I think he is. 2. That looks like the sort of thing Chris would say for that game, I think. We know him well. So Chris has gone Forest, so has Alex, so has Mark, so has Callum. Andy, Barnsley joker, but it's one I want Forest to win. Forest unconvincingly. Interesting. Good answer. Forest. Good game for Forest to get back on track. Forest. Happy New Year, Ryan. New manager Trickle. You love it. Forest for Steve. There's a draw for Ross. Gaza, Forest. Happy New Year to all you guys saying that. Liam, Forest heavily on Forest there. Liam, yeah, I think it's going to be a comfortable one for Forest. So I'm going to hit the home button and I'm not going to go for a big one, but comfortable to me is by 2. And I'm afraid I don't see Barnsley scoring in this one. So I'm going to go for a 2-0. If you do head over to Football 365, what is working is the rest of the website, not the Championship Predictor. You'll see my tactical preview for this. So if you want a good long read on this game, I spent most of yesterday writing 200 words, then checking to see whether it had been cancelled, then writing another 200 words. It's not a nice time to be previewing football matches at the moment, put it that way. 2-0 is my prediction, and our friends at betfair.com will give you 6-1. Please gamble responsibly if you are heading over to betfair.com. We thank Betfair as ever for being our partners here on the preview shows. Right, 3 to go, including a very big one at the end, and our only game today as well. First of all, Bristol City versus Millwall. Bristol City versus Millwall. Get your predictions in for this one. Bristol City draw or Millwall. Bristol City draw or Millwall. Bristol City, I struggle. I really struggle because they're so up and down. And by the time I form an opinion, they do the opposite. And they have got the potential there to go on little winning runs. And they have. We've had a good run away from home in September. We had a good run at home maybe 3-4 games ago. But now the struggle is real again for Bristol City. And that weird psychological thing of conceding the late goals and the home defeats looks like it's coming back. Millwall were a lot of people's votes, along with Darby, for team of the round last time after their win at Coventry, when, frankly, most Millwall fans didn't want that game to be played with all the potential players they would have missing. So good job by Millwall in the week. Get your predictions in. Bristol City draw, Millwall. Bristol City draw or Millwall. The tail of the tape has Millwall in the table by 7. Millwall in the form table by 6. In the homes and aways by 15. Obviously, a lot of that to do with Bristol City's historic bad home form, it has to be said. XG Millwall by 3. And the only thing to write home about in terms of goals is Bristol City concede a lot. They are in the bottom 6 in terms of most goals conceded, however you want that sentence to be constructed. Hopefully, there was no oxymoron in there. Get your predictions in. Bristol City draw, Mill. Robins draw, Lions. Let's have a look, see what you're saying. Please hit the like button, by the way. I can see them going up, but it really helps. Right, where are we going to start? Bristol City draw or Millwall. There we go. Start with Chris. 2-1 Millwall. Draw, Mill, draw, Mill, draw. Home. There's a 0-0 from Rob. Draw, Mill, draw, Mill, draw, Mill, draw, home. Casey Palmer in talks with QPR. Yeah, probably be a few outs from Bristol City, weren't there? 0-0. All those stats point to a home. Right, he's going with the opposite. Or Gary Rowett to get draw number 10 of the season. Well, it's pertinent you should have said that, because I think Gary Rowett will be more than happy with these 2 away games to take 4 points. If he can get a clean sheet, we may well get a win. I don't think he will, but I do think he's going to get a point. It's a good old draw. I'm going full Rowett on this one. Not only am I going draw, but I'm going to go 1-1 as well, which is full Rowett. Apologies for the predictable nature of my prediction. But hey, sometimes it's predictable for a reason. What do our friends at betfair.com say? 5-1. Thought that might be 9-2 actually. But there you go. 5-1 at betfair.com. 1-1 says I. A lot of you behind Millwall on that one, though. Understandably so when we look at the actual hard statistical data. But hey, the data often throws us completely down the wrong path. 2 to go, guys. 2 to go. Keep with me. Blackpool versus Hull. Blackpool draw Hull. Blackpool draw or Hull. Our only game today. I know there's Premier League stuff. I think they've kicked off right now, haven't they? Blackpool draw or Hull. Let me know your thoughts on that one. Blackpool draw or Hull. Blackpool, do you know what? I'm a bit concerned about Blackpool still because, and a lot of you said this to me, I said, oh, they bounced back. They're beating Peterborough. They bounced back. And a lot of you said, yeah, but Ben Peterborough aren't very good away from home. And then you were right, frankly, because Blackpool then lost the next 2 games, didn't they? But what I will say about Blackpool is the 2 defeats. It was 10 men, wasn't it? 3-2 late on, and they led at Huddersfield. And then that weird one against Middlesbrough where they equalised and then conceded again in stoppage time. So they're not getting battered. They're competitive here, but they're not winning. And it is a bad run for Blackpool. Hull, there's a very obvious trend here because they weren't doing very well. They won 4 straight games, didn't they? Then they drew 2 straight games, so a little trend down. Then they've lost. So does the trend down continue now? And we start to see more like the Hull we saw earlier in the season? I don't know, because they've changed the system and maybe acclimatised to the league a little bit more. You tell me. That's why you're here. Blackpool draw Hull. Blackpool draw or Hull. Tail of the tape. Blackpool by 6 in the table. Hull by 18 in the form table. 18. That's as close as... In fact, that's better than Bournemouth and Peterborough. Well, that's only 7, actually, but in the table miles. But anyway, let me focus. 8-game homes and aways, exactly the same. Blackpool 19th at home, Hull 19th away. XG, Hull are behind by 2 in that one. In terms of goals, Hull don't score many. Blackpool do concede, though. Bottom 6 in both of those. So I think we can almost throw the stats out the window. It's quite tight, and it's an on-the-day one. This one, of course, both sides in League One last season. So we'll be familiar, won't they? Lenny, looks like we're playing second, third string squad with McCann suggesting a number of young lads can make their... Oh, interesting. I've already committed to my prediction on this, and I'm worried about it now. So there we go. Blackpool, draw. By the way, I would listen to what Lenny says. He's good on Hull. I'm now worried about what I've already published on Football 365 about this one. Blackpool, draw, Blackpool. Game of the day, only game of the day. Yeah, you're right. Blackpool, 1-1, draw. Paul. Dad says Blackpool by a goal, says Neil. So I'm really worried about my prediction now because I didn't dust off this, but I did dust off that. And now I feel like I'm going to have egg on my face. But look, I've got to stick with it now. It's published. It's in print on Football 365. I'm playing my joker on this one. Away. I don't know why I've got problems with this one, haven't I? But I've gone for Hull. So I'm playing my joker on this one. I've gone for an away win, which I'm almost certain now I'm going to be wrong about if Hull haven't got any players. So, yeah, good luck to me. Good luck to all of you. I've gone for a 2-1. And if we look over at betfair.com, 9-1. So I thought it might be longer. There we go. I've gone for 2-1 to Hull. And I'm almost certain already that I'm going to be wrong. But there we go. Last one. And I'm looking forward to hearing about this one, because there's a big narrative about Reading versus Derby. Get your predictions in. Come on, Reading, draw, Derby. Reading, draw, or Derby. And, of course, that narrative is that were Derby to win in the battle of the FFP naughty step, they would be 8 points behind Reading. And this, obviously, with a 21-point deduction. Look, we know Reading have had 6 deducted, but still 15 points deducted more and only 18 points behind. 8 points behind. That sounds like a 23-point. Is that right? Yeah, they would have 21. I can never do all this maths. 18. Oh, yeah, screw it. A big swing. Anyway, sorry, I can't do all the maths with addition and plussing and all of that. No, I'm going to do the maths. So Derby, if they won, they'd have 13 plus 21 would be 34. Reading 21 plus 7. Okay, it's only a 7-point swing, but still, what they need, really what they need, isn't it, to go within 8 points? And they've won 3 straight games, and they've got everybody watching now. I will cast your minds back though to Sheffield Wednesday last season, where I think Sheffield Wednesday went on a run, didn't they, under Neil Thompson, wasn't it, before Darren Moore actually arrived. And it felt like when they were behind and chasing, there was a freedom and they trended up. And then when they got close, they seemed to panic, didn't they? So you do have to factor that in for Derby. There is a scenario where they do well, they get close, and then it all becomes a little bit too real and people start taking them more seriously. But look, you can't say fairer. 3 straight wins is tremendous from Wayne Rooney, who's doing a fantastic job, isn't he? And that defence is so strong. They're in the, well, we'll do the numbers in a second, but they're in the top 6 for fewest goals conceded. They've essentially got a top 6 defence, as I've just said, Derby. Get your predictions in then. Reading, draw, or Derby. Reading, draw, or Derby. In the table, Reading by 3. In the form table, Derby by 13. And Derby are in the top 6 of the 8-game form table. Homes and aways, Derby by 2. Reading aren't good at home. In the last 8 games, they're in the bottom. Well, they're 20th. They're in the bottom 4, in fact. XG, both sides do not have good XGs, put it that way. Although, I think you can explain away Derby's. Derby have conceded 22 goals, but have an XG against of 32. So they're massively outperforming their XG defensively. And I have the theory that they're playing in this defensive strategy. So they're conceding lots of small chances, which is okay if you've got Curtis Davis and Jagielka throwing everything at them and you're set up in that way. So I think it can be explained away. In terms of the Reading XG, there's a good overperformance in terms of the attack for Reading. And they do concede a lot of chances, Reading, according to those numbers. Get your predictions in then. Reading, draw, or Derby. Reading, draw, or Derby. Will Derby get a 4th straight win in a row? I don't know why I said that. Where shall we dive in here? Derby. Oh, they're going for the big story. Draw. Derby. Draw. Derby. Plan chat trick. There we go. Get on that. It'll be payday, won't it? Derby. Reading. COVID breaks often equal poor performance. Yeah, a lot of you have brought that up about the poor performance and the rustiness and we just don't have a clue what's going to happen, do we? Reading, draw, Derby, and Derby. Interesting. I would love to go in with the 4th straight win, but I have a term that we use on these shows a lot, and it's called unhelpful draw. Although it wouldn't actually be unhelpful for Reading because they just want to keep Derby at arm's length. We know the chase inside, a draw is unhelpful. The side pushing them away, a draw is okay as long as you're not conceding ground. But I am going to go for a draw in this one. I just always feel, and I say this a lot, I always feel Reading can get a goal. I just think they have some good technical players. Who's going to be there, we don't know. But I'm going to go for a draw, and I'm going to just bring up betfair.com, our wonderful partners for this. And what have I gone for? I've gone for a 1-1. You will get 5-1 over at betfair.com. Please gamble responsibly. Apologies if we're getting any connection issues. Hopefully those will right themselves very, very quickly. Please don't feel the need to comment on them. And for the people who say, why do you comment on them? Because if I don't, people will comment on them. So I'll say that once and we'll hopefully move on. Apologies if we're getting any connection issues, which it looks like we are right now. Okay, my predictions for this round. I've gone for Bournemouth to beat Peterborough, Blackburn to beat Huddersfield, West Brom to beat Cardiff. I did go for Sheffield United to beat Middlesbrough and then it got postponed. I've gone for Birmingham and QPR to draw. Stoke and Preston is my 0-0. I've gone for Forest to beat Barnsley. Bristol City and Millwall is a draw. I've gone for Blackpool to lose at home to Hull, which I'm regretting now. And I've gone for Reading and Derby to draw. Let me know your thoughts on all of that. Let's do 5 minutes of Q&A. Anybody got any questions? Get your questions in, any topics, and we'll hang around a little while longer and talk some more football or anything you want to talk about. Indeed, get your questions in. I'm going to say a big thank you to the Donovan brothers, who are our fan sponsors. Please go and get involved over on Patreon. Great community. Couple of extra exclusive bits of content per month over there as well. In the main, you are supporting my work here, which will always be free on YouTube. You can get involved in a roundtable or Q&As and whatnot over there. I might try and start doing a few more blogs and whatnot that are Patreon exclusive as well. Give those guys a little bit more bang for their buck. But they're so lovely over there. They're not normally bothered. They're normally, look, we just want to support you, Ben. And that's great. So if you want to do that at patreon.com. Questions. Get your questions in. Before you do that, please hit the thumb up button and subscribe if you haven't already. I haven't set a target this season or this year, indeed. I probably should. Where are we? 20,207. So yeah, I suppose 21,000 would be the next target. But what I am going to do is I'm going to change the thing that we've got down here. Keep your questions coming in. I'm just padding, giving you a bit of time to ask you questions. There we go. So there you go. 20.2k. Right. Shall we do some questions? Great. We've got loads. Awesome. Rob, are Derby able to sign anyone during the window? That's a great question. I'm not sure. Obviously, they're in admin. So you think short-term contracts would probably be allowed? I assume everything has to go through the EFL. I suppose the worry is the other way. But if anyone's got any info on that, I think Andy's in the chat, isn't he? He'll know, won't he? But there we go. Do you think Derby can get off the bottom soon? Yeah. The trend is that they will come off the bottom. That's obviously a very different question, Kenny, than can they survive at the moment to get off the bottom. They're 2 games away from it, and Barnsley are just having one of those seasons where, you know, it's 4 points from the first 2 games. So Barnsley have scored 10 points in the last 22 games. That is rank. That's less than 0.5 per game, isn't it? Awful. Alex, how do you think the Welsh ban on fans could affect teams, i.e. any advantage to them playing? We haven't had a game in Wales yet, have we? Cardiff are not at home, are they? No. Hopefully, they'll lift it. We might miss the FA Cup. I don't know. Are the Welsh teams at home in the FA Cup? You tell me. Hopefully, it'll get lifted before we get back. I know there's been reschedules, but that round Saturday the 15th, so hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll lift it over there in Wales. Do you have big plans for 2022 or keeping the setup you have? Andy, I'll keep everything going as it is. I'll be completely transparent with you. Someone is interested in the Saturday Super Stream in terms of it not being on this channel, but me still doing it and obviously earning some money out of it. So that's something I'm in talks about. That could be a change soon. But no, I'm planning to hopefully do a bit more on Instagram and Facebook and try and push those areas. Happy with what we're doing on YouTube. A long-term goal would be to hopefully add some help, add some more faces to the channel. But that will need to be done gently because obviously I've been in every video ever, and we've got to move that gradually to try and help people out. Wenlock, which championship club will do most business in January? West Brom. I think they have the biggest need. They didn't go massive in summer, and they've got the year one parachute payment. So I'll go West Brom. Who's going to move for big money this week? This week, I'm not sure. During the month, big money mover. What constitutes big money now? If we're talking about one of the real big players, and the Chilean sensation at Blackburn is the one, I think that would be later in the month, as late as possible, in fact, get that bidding war going. But no, I think we'll ease in. I wonder if there'll even be a bit of a delay on loans with people worrying about Omicron and whatnot. So there we go. Reading have former Watford and Coventry fullback Brandon Mason on trial. Can I assume he's no good? We've got any Watford or Coventry fans in? Do let me know. Secret Gaming Plays. What do I think of Darby? That's a very, very general question. I think they're a great club that have had a sticky couple of years, and I hope that they bounce back in whatever form and whatever length that takes to be a great club again, is what I'll say about Darby. Lenny, we have been linked with Lazio striker Verat Murray for 8.5 million. Do you think it's wise spending a big on a clear position or distribute? I would not like to see Hull's new owners come in and spend 8 million quid on a striker in the Championship. No, I would not like to see that at all. I'd much rather see them take a view and ramp things up gently. And look, that would be worrying. Obviously, it'd be exciting, but yeah, with FFP, we want to see clubs being cautious and careful, not overly, but you know what I mean, don't we? Think Big Ben, 1 million subs this season. Well, there we go. Sam, am I fed up of talking about Derby yet? No, of course not. No. We can't do anything until the preferred bidder is announced. Look, Derby's a big club. They've got lots of fans. We've got lots of subscribers that are interested in hearing about Derby. It's a big story, isn't it? Steve, Stoke lost 85 million last set of accounts. Bristol lost 38 million last set of accounts. Why no mention of FFP points deduction? 39 million loss over 3 seasons being FFP. There's been a relaxation, Steve, hasn't there, because of COVID. So, yeah, I think the Bristol City one, are they not still inside because they had a profit 2 seasons back? But I think there's 2 reporting years, and I don't know the exact, but I think there's going to be a few clubs, and it would be sensible, that are using this of, right, we'll put in a really bad set of figures because everything's been relaxed because of COVID. So I think that's the reason. Is Casey Palmer the chair cover? Could Cook if signed from Bournemouth help improve Dunn and Dickey? Yes, Cook would help improve them. Very experienced, good player. Palmer, any chair cover would be short term, wouldn't it? So I think he'd just be being added unless they're going to just take him on loan until the end of the season. Do you think Championship clubs should look at the Japanese J-League like Celtic? Yeah, absolutely. We've seen, obviously, Huddersfield first going to that German market and then Norwich after that. Barnsley going to the Austrian Bundesliga. We've seen plenty of creative stuff, haven't we? Japan, absolutely. Barnsley and the USA as well. So, yeah, I'd love to see that. Where there's value, people will go, won't they? Obviously, Brexit makes a difference now, doesn't it? But let's get into that. Neil, are we like to see any other clubs suffer financial penalties this season? No, I don't think so. Unless someone's been very, very silly and not been very upfront with the EFL and we get a big surprise from someone when they report their stuff. But no, I think Reading had already been talking. Derby's been years in the making. hasn't it? I assume Bristol City will be in conversations, and that's a starting point in terms of getting back on the right footing there. Kenny, a class Chandler Royce Brighton's my day. You're very, very welcome, Kenny. Stephen, you think Aaron Connolly would be a good signing for us? Yes. Whenever I've seen him for Brighton, he seems to make things happen. So, and Chris Wilder can't seem to put a foot wrong at the moment. So there we go. Rob, are you surprised by Wayne Rooney's management at Derby? Yes, just purely on the basis that we often assume that, wrongly, by the way, that a player is going to manage how they played. And Wayne Rooney was like the most exciting, explosive, flamboyant, brilliant attacker. And he puts together these very methodical, good defensive teams. Maybe if he wasn't in the shtuck he's in at Derby, maybe he would play a slightly different type of football. But I think having seen what Philip Koku tried and didn't work, it's a bit of a reaction to that. And I think Liam Rosinia obviously helps. But yeah, really pleased for Rooney, because I've said so often, Rooney derangement syndrome is a thing. It's a thing with big stars in football where people's reactions are just ridiculous. They're too exaggerated. He does one thing good and a certain school of people want to praise him like he's the Messiah. He does one thing wrong and a certain school of people want to criticize him like he's some kind of mass murderer or something awful like that. And look, let's just get. We're seeing it with poor old Gilmore at Norwich at the moment. We got the Chelsea fans on one hand saying he's the next, whoever, Pirlo or whatever. The Norwich fans then reacting to that and saying he's utterly, utterly terrible. And somewhere in the middle lies the truth, doesn't it? So, yes. How can Chelsea post losses of 145 million owe a billion to a parent company? Well, I think the thing with Chelsea, Alex, is they did a lot of their spending before FFP became a thing. So there's a lot of historical debts. And again, with the 145 million quid, clubs are in trouble, of course, and all their turnover, a lot of their turnover disappeared. Less so with someone like Chelsea, where you still get Premier League TV money, Champions League TV money, whereas maybe a League One club, etc. Maybe it's different, but Chelsea make a profit every year, mate. I think they make a loss every year, Darren. Thoughts on Casey Palmer moving to QPR? I've always liked Casey Palmer, Anir. I thought he was good. Where was he? He was at Huddersfield, wasn't he? I think he was at Huddersfield when they were good and got promoted. And I think there's a player there. Oh, am I thinking of Izzy Brown? I can't remember. Casey Palmer go to Huddersfield. I've always enjoyed Casey Palmer anyway. Obviously, it hasn't quite worked out at Bristol City, has it? But there's a player there if someone can get him going again. Is that Mark Warburton? Maybe. Who knows? Right. I think we are there. Who's my favourite for the boot in 2022? Goodness me. Veljko Paunovic, if Reading get really close, might be in trouble. Lebo, you won't get the boot, but he might get fed up with Birmingham and walk, mightn't he? Looking up the rest of the table, I don't see anyone in particular trouble. If Stoke were to collapse and go into the bottom half, Michael O'Neill will get fired, but I'm not sure that that's going to happen. Is it? I don't know. You'd be looking at one of the year one parachute teams. If any of the year one parachute teams look like they're not going to make the playoffs at any point, their manager is in trouble. There. Who's going to win the World Cup? England, obviously. I'm going to get very excited about England winning the World Cup. But there we go. Andy, with the international games this year again, do you think they will sort the end of the season if code games haven't been played? No, I think they're going to ram it all in. And if someone has to play lots and lots of games, they have to play lots and lots of games. I think they're so worried about World Cup Qatar, they can't start the next season late. It's all too crowded. So, no. Thoughts on Luke Plange, only 19. By far the best finisher of the club, said by Root. Well, look, I heard Jack Stretton was by far the best finisher of the club, and now Luke Plange. Look, I won't focus particularly on Luke Plange. Good luck to him. He's come in the team. He's doing well. We never know when there is a situation like we got at Derby where they have to play the young players. We never know, A, whether that's a good thing and whether that makes some players thrive. Take someone like Louis Sibley, where it looks like he could have done with being dripped in without this horrible situation. And, hasn't done as well as he should. So we never know whether it's helping players or hindering them, and whether they would actually be ready or going in. So we will see. I'm pretty sure Wayne Rooney, if he had a bona fide championship-ready striker, would be dripping in Luke Plange and Jack Stretton, maybe loaning them out, etc. So, yeah, they have to play him. He's doing well, but yeah, I don't want to hype up players too much. Right, what else have we got here? They don't have to play Plange. Yeah, well, they do though. Look, they've got Sam Bulldog and Colin Kazim-Richards, as you said, free transfers, aging players that other clubs didn't want. So the bar is not high because of the trouble. Is what I'm suggesting. Steve, are Ipswich going up? Not this season. No, I don't think so. I think they've left too much to do. Kenny, do you wish us a happy new year? Absolutely. Happy new year, everybody. I wonder how flat this is. It's been here an hour now. It tastes all right. Pretty good. There we go. Right, thank you, lot. Really good Q&A there. Enjoyed that. Some really, really good topics. I'll answer this one. Is Reading v Derby a watch-along? I hope so. I haven't got organised, to be honest. But, yeah, that's tomorrow, right? Yeah, definitely. We'll get involved in that. Right, thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm getting some nice best wishes and whatnot. I can see them all. I'll click as many up in the chat as I can. Enjoy the football today. I know it's a bit... what's the word? Sort of stretched and here and there. But I think it's a more fuller day tomorrow. So I'll see you for some kind of stream tomorrow. Thank you, as everybody, for all the support and whatnot. And it's a lovely big over and out from me. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.